On this short stack, we'll be talking about Civil War II, number 8. I'm going to tell you if it's any good in 5 minutes or less. Civil War II, number 8 opens up where number 7 left off, with Captain Marvel punching a hole through Iron Man. Or at least that's what we thought. Turns out Tony Stark is still alive as the two continue to battle over the Capitol building. Maria Hill is on the helicarrier and she is with the Ultimates in Alpha Flight. Them and the Inhumans are racing towards the battlefield to try to get Carol and Tony to stop fighting. But before they can actually make it, Carol seemingly obliterates Tony in a flash of light, and as Tony is falling, Ulysses has one final vision, and that vision takes us through 7 splash pages of different futures, or as I'm just going to call them, events, because the first vision is the Monsters Unleashed event, and then it goes to Inhumans vs. the X-Men. We see something with Ultron, and then we also see something really cool with an Assad Ribic drawn page of Loki with what looks to be the Black Butcher's sword fighting Thor. At the end of the visions, Miles Morales is holding Tony Stark, who seems to be dead. Of course, that's not the case, as we find out later in the book. Ulysses is almost trapped in his vision world as he's greeted by Eternity, who says, "You're more than just the Earth. There's more than just the Earth. Let me show you." And he becomes like, I guess, a Celestial or one of the Elders of the Universe. It's not really explained. The book then cuts to Carol Danvers and Hank McCoy talking as Tony Stark sits between them. We find out that Tony's not dead. He's almost like in a coma, but Hank says that he's experimented on himself to a point where Hank isn't even comfortable with taking blood from him. He's afraid of trying to do anything with Tony. While the two are talking, Beast tells Carol that Tony wasn't really fighting her. He was fighting the idea of what came after her, because Carol's whole means of this event is that she's using profiling to save lives. But what happens when Carol's not the one in charge? What happens when someone like Dr. Doom or a bad guy that is using profiling for their own means? Carol stops talking to Beast and talks to Hawkeye for a minute, and that conversation boils down to Hawkeye saying, "Just trust me." And she goes, "Okay." The book ends with Carol talking to the United States president and him saying, "I used to believe that Jim Rhodes was the future of this country, but now I think it's you, and I have an open wallet, and I want you to do whatever you want." And she goes, "I have some ideas for the future." This event just comes off as hollow. There's not one piece of dialogue that means anything up until Eternity comes up and starts talking to Ulysses. And even then, when we get to Beast talking to Carol, he says, and his entire speech boils down to, profiling is okay. Civil War II is part of a larger problem at Marvel. Marvel, the fans are burnt out. Marvel, I'm burnt out. We don't want more events. We don't want more relaunches. We want solid storytelling. And what Civil War II is just a stepping stone to get to the next event, to get to the next relaunch. Everything feeds into each other. Everything feeds into each other too much, and we're congested. Secret Wars was a great event. Even though it had some problems of its own, it nailed its landing, and we got all new, all different Marvel. Civil War didn't quite just stick that landing at all, and we're getting Monsters Unleashed. And I'm sure once Monsters Unleashed is over, we'll get another event, and then we'll get our summer event, and then we'll get our fall event, and then we'll get probably one relaunch there or more. And I don't think that's what fans want, and that's why we're seeing companies like Image, Dark Horse, Boom, Oni Press starting to gain more traction in the industry, because fans are wanting more self-contained stories and things that feel finite. I tried to like Civil War II. As much as the art was great, the writing just wasn't there to hold up the whole story. Marvel is facing some fierce competition, and in a week where Love is Love comes out, Justice League vs. Suicide Squad comes out, All-Star Batman comes out, 7 to Eternity comes out, paying $5 for what equates to really just half a book and half of a previews book is not what the fans want. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me here on the Short Stack. Am I wrong? Let me know in the comment section below. But thank you guys for watching, and for more Short Stacks, for more Comic Plunder, be sure to like and subscribe. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys on the next round.